Hello everybody, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the new series of webinars where we're going to show you ClassFlow Desktop. In this webinar, we're going to show the basic functionalities that you can have with the new ClassFlow Desktop. ClassFlow Desktop is the newer software of Promethean, which basically enable you to use ClassFlow even offline. Just housekeeping rules, you will be noticing that your microphones have been muted. So you won't be able to ask questions by voice, but you can still ask us any type of questions that you want related to the webinar via the chat. Actually, if you want, we can try. So if you send us, for example, in the chat where you are from, you can tell us where you're from. It will be nice. You can send it to the host. So basically, you will be sending the chat to me, that I'm the host, and I will pose the questions to Wendy, who is our presenter of today. So please write us where you're from. So UK. Spartanburg, Slovenia, Latvia, France, USA, Germany. So we've got people from about all over the world. So we check that actually your chat works and I can receive your messages. So please, we'll be continuing with our webinars. Ask as many questions as you want. I will be taking them and posing them to Wendy. I'll give you also the option of asking the question. In addition to English, you can write your question also in Italian and Spanish if you want. As I can speak them, I can translate them for Wendy. Obviously, the answer will still be in English. So I'll pass the ball to Wendy, who will show you the new ClassFlow Desktop.
Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. As Emanuele said, I'll be taking you through our new ClassFlow Desktop today. And let's start. So once you've installed and activated your ClassFlow Desktop and open it, it will appear as a nice little tiny icon that you can move around your screen and place anywhere that is convenient. So no matter where you are used to having your tools, ClassFlow Desktop will fit in nicely with that. So whilst it's minimized, it's quite compact and it's quite movable, so that shouldn't be any problem at all. So once I want to get started with ClassFlow, and I'll show you just how easy it is to get started with ClassFlow, I click on my little menu to get a whole range of options. And again, whilst the menu wheel is expanded, I can move this anywhere on my screen. Now, for the people who've been watching closely, you will see that there is actually a row of icons here that are not quite active yet. And I'm sure you can take a guess as to why that is. And that brings us to one of the great features of ClassFlow Desktop. This is the amount of icons that I have available if I'm online. So right now, everything I'm going to be showing you, I will be doing while I'm not connected with ClassFlow. So everything I'm doing right now is going to be in offline mode. That is not to say I'm not connected to the internet, because I'm obviously talking to you and showing you what I'm doing. But as far as ClassFlow Desktop is concerned, I am not connected to my ClassFlow resources at the moment. So let's get started. So the first thing I would like to show you is our instant whiteboard. And the instant whiteboard is this little icon here. It's the traditional icon of the board with a little squiggle on it. And if I click it, look at that, it instantly opens a blank page for me. Now I can move this to the side, minimize it, and there we go. I am right in my instant whiteboard. Now this canvas, this nice, big, huge canvas, is going to be screen size, no matter what the size of your display is. So whether you're using it on your computer at home, if you're at school, using it on an interactive display, you will have the full area available to work with. Now, this is feedback we've had from teachers where they've said, this is what we want. We just need like an infinite space to work with, just to, you know, get to the board, write down our notes, start working with the kids without having all sorts of things cluttering our screen. So there it is, people. It's there for you to use, and I just want to take you through some of the tools that you will have available. So one of the first things that we've added to ClassFlow Desktop 3.0 is an expanded range of an expanded range of pen options. So if I click on my pen, if I click on the little arrow above it, it will expand my color palette, and you can see if you're used to using the previous version of ClassFlow Desktop, these options have massively improved. So you've got a nice selection of colors available there. So I can pick any color here, and I'll pick something that's easy for you to read. I can adjust my line thickness here. So I can make different strokes, different size lines. And then I have a drawing style, so you can use freehand, and you can also use the vertical or horizontal line on your tool, which is really useful if you're just quickly trying to draw a table on the board. These can come in quite handy. So I could click on this, quickly draw a vertical line. I could also, if I select it properly, also add a vertical line, a horizontal line to that. And there's no messing. I can just add my lines as I see fit. And I can change color again, add a few more lines. So as you can see, it is quite easy to just add a table to the board. So one of the other things that is a major feature in ClassFlow Desktop 3.0 is what I would like to show you next. And this feature is only available to ClassFlow Desktop. So we've not added this to the online browser, and that's the following. So I can now write something on my board. I will keep it basic. Oh, if I go back to freehand, that is. There you go.
Wendy, can I take the opportunity to ask you a question that's just been asked? Can I add pages?
Of course you can. Yes, absolutely. So not only have you got an infinite canvas here, but, you know, if that's not enough for you, there's a carousel option here. So this option lets you toggle your carousel, and with the click of a button, I can add pages and I can keep going. So it's easy as that. Click, add a card, and if I think, no, I actually don't need that many cards, there's a delete option.
And another question just arrived. As I can add pages to an instant whiteboard, but can I save it, or when I exit, will I lose it?
You can absolutely save it, and that's something I'm going to show you in a moment once we get through these as well. So that's a great question. But to go back to this little feature here, so if you want to use writing on your board, which is obviously, if you've got a touch board, you can write with your finger or your pen, you can quickly scribble something down. Now, if you think, right, okay, I would really want to tidy that up because it doesn't look very smart, here's our next tool, which is called Text Recognition Selector. Now, if I open that up, you can see I have two different options here. One is for text and one is for formulae. So I'm sure that that is also very exciting, and a lot of people have asked for this because they've been used to having that in other software that they were using. So now with my text recognition selected, I can draw a box around what I've written. As you can see, it's instantly changed to my text. And now if I wanted to get really fancy, I could do the same for a formula. And please bear with me here, because my range of formulas is quite limited. So we will see. I will add. I'm sure that is one that should be familiar to everybody. And I make sure I've got my formula recognition selector there. And look at that, people. I've got a nice formula on my page there. So these are just some quick options just to show you what the tools can do. There's another icon here, which is called the toolbox. And if I open that up, you will see you've got your standard array of math tools available. And in addition, we've added the revealer and the spotlight to the whiteboard as well, so you can use them as well. I'm sure you are all very familiar with the functionality of these. Yeah, I can use the ruler.
That's basically all the tools that you already find in ActiveSpire, basically, isn't it?
Yes, it's just a standard, you know, your standard set of tools that just makes it easy to quickly add a few things to your lesson. So you don't always have to have a pre-prepared lesson. You can get going with ClassFlow Desktop so easily. And save what you've done afterwards. There you go. So that's as far as the ruler is concerned. And now to show you for that question that came in, if I wanted to save this, I will toggle this down so you've got the whole screen again. There's a little option here. And if I click on the arrow, you will see I've got two options. I can either exit my whiteboard without saving, or I can save this as a lesson. Now remember, people, I am still offline. So I am still not connected, as far as ClassFlow Desktop is concerned, I'm still not connected to my online resources or anything. So I can save my lesson, and I'll save that to my desktop there. And that is now saved, so I can safely exit my whiteboard and go and do something else. So unless there's any questions.
Okay, yes, there are 3 questions actually. First question is it free?
ClassFlow Desktop was specifically designed for Promethean customers, and what that means is that ClassFlow Desktop is entirely free for 90 days, or if you have a Promethean display or a ClassFlow private account, then you can use this unlimited.
Okay, and then the other, actually there is one that is strictly related. Would I be able to have ClassFlow Desktop on more than one computer, for example, at home, school, or laptop?
Yes. We do not limit the amount of machines that you can install it in. And when I say that you need to have a Promethean display to activate your software after 90 days, that means that you need to be able to connect to a display once every 90 days. So, you know, you can connect to a board, activate your software, and use it without the board wherever you want, as long as you're able to use that connection once every 90 days. So that's all there is to it.
So there are another couple of questions, like, can I scale the formula? So, for example, to make it bigger with gesture. Probably you can use the zoom tool, can't you?
Yes.
So yeah, there is a zoom tool in ClassFlow Desktop you can use for zooming any parts of your slide. And there is another question. How many touches has got the whiteboard? Well, now we're talking about ClassFlow Desktop, so we are using it on the computer. So actually, at this moment, we don't have any touches. But depending on what you use, like for example, if you use it on one of the new Promethean active panel, you may have like 10 touches or 20 touches, depending on the model that you get. If you get an HD, a full HD one, or a 4K one.
Yes, indeed. So the last thing I would like to show you quickly are the shapes that have been added to the whiteboard toolbar. You were used to having them available in Builder, but now they're here as well. And you can see I don't have to do a lot of definition. I can just pick my shape and it will be added to my page right away. So with this, with the shapes and the objects, we've added a cog option that is showing a few more options than what you're used to seeing. So with one of the options that have been added for most of the shapes, depending on what kind of shape, is, for instance, you can edit points. Now, this means I can turn on the edit points and I can turn the shape into anything I like, basically. So once I'm done, I stop editing the points, and, you know, as you can see, you can turn that into something quite different. I'm sure that opens a lot of options for a lot of people who work with these. And one that goes nicely with that is the fill tool, which is right here, looking like a little paint can. And again, for this one, I can pick my color. So if I decide I want to fill that shape, I can do that quite easily. I can also use the fill color on my background. So I will pick something that is not too obvious. There you go. So I could easily change the background of my page. So that is as far as the shapes are concerned on the whiteboard. And if there's no more questions on that, I will exit the session and continue and show you the next thing.
Yeah, there is a question just arrived. You can exit. Is about, can I use my flip charts with ClassFlow Desktop? You
can indeed. So back to my wheel, I still have the top row of icons available because I'm still not online, so everything I'm doing here. So I will, sorry, I went a bit quick. So the first icon here, my little browse icon, which is depicted by a folder. If I open that, you will see that the lesson I've just saved before is available here. So I could open that whiteboard session up again, and I could make changes or keep working with it. Now, to answer the question that just came in, to convert a file to a lesson, that's where I would use this option right here, convert file to lesson. So the standard array of options is available there. You can convert your PowerPoints, you can convert your flip charts, and you can convert your PDFs and smart notebook files, I should not forget, to ClassFlow lessons at the click of a button. So there is no need to worry that you're going to have to recreate all your existing lessons. You only have to use this button right there.
So basically, if they already have got flip charts that they want to use with ClassFlow Desktop, they will just convert it directly with ClassFlow Desktop and use them.
Exactly. So the next part, speaking of converting resources, I am sure, depending on how long you've been in the trade, you will have a nice selection of PowerPoints that you're used to using in your lesson. And I will show you just how easy it is to use these. So if I was to open up a PowerPoint on my computer, just using normal PowerPoint as we're used to, and I need to be in slideshow mode, so I can go through my slideshow as I am used to, and then if I see something that I want to use, then I would use this icon, which is taking a screenshot. So what that does, and which is quite handy actually, because it allows me to use a lot of different software together, it will just add that page to a lesson in ClassFlow, so in ClassFlow Desktop. So now I have this page here. As you can see, it's down here, and I can use these tools I have available before on that page. So again, I can annotate, I can add text, and I can add annotation, I can add pens, and whatever I would like to do. So that's a really, really handy feature, because it doesn't just allow me to have a PowerPoint there. I could say, well, you know, I would like to go to say I want to open a web page. Okay, well, let's open a web page. So I found something, you know, that I want to share with the kids, as you want to do. And again, I can click my snapshot.
You just answered to another question there, right? Like, can I use other programs in addition to PowerPoint? I mean, I think they meant to, the screenshot or from other programs, which is just done. Actually, you've taken a screenshot from a website.
Yes. So basically, it can overlay with any software that you have available on your computer. Just like in this respect, it would be like any other screen grabbing software, but with a lot more features added to it. So again, that has now been added to my lesson, and I can work with that as I would like. So let's see.
Yeah, and then you can obviously save it into a lesson again.
Yes.
And then there is another question. Can I put my lesson online? I think they mean the lesson that you have created. Can I then put it online?
Definitely.
I think they mean like using them with the online version of ClassFlow.
Yes, definitely. And when we get to, I will connect at some point and show you all the features that you have available when you're actually connected to the online version of ClassFlow. Actually, we were moving on to that quite looking at the time. We were looking at that shortly. So this is basically what you can do with other software on your computer already. You don't have to stay in ClassFlow Desktop. You can use them to build your new lesson. And I will move on from there if there's no
there is another question as well. What will happen with activities which are built into a flip chart after importing to ClassFlow Desktop? So what happened to videos or other things, layer, etc.? And the answer is pretty easy. Basically, whatever ClassFlow understands, so whatever features, like I don't know if you're using the curtain, for example, or any other thing that it's available in ClassFlow, then it will be converted, in the flip chart or in a note from the notebook file directly inside the ClassFlow lesson. And the very good thing is as well that you can, as we were saying before, you can put it online, or you can use it with ClassFlow Desktop then to send, for example, questions to the students if they're connected with tablets, or also sending the contents that you've got on the screen again to your students.
Okay, so that's as far as that's concerned. So next thing I would like to show you, we've touched, this is pretty much the same as the online browser, but just to show you how you can get there, still being offline, you can now build your lessons offline. You don't have to be connected. So I can create a new lesson, and that will take me into my ClassFlow builder as I am used to seeing it online. I will have all the features available. Everything will be exactly the same. And do not be deceived by this little loading icon that you just saw. That doesn't mean I'm online now. It just means that this is the lesson builder. And I don't know if you've had a chance to explore the new 5.3 lesson builder yet. But go on, Emanuele's waving for another question.
Yeah, they're kind of arriving one after the other.
Yeah, of course, go for it.
Kathy is asking, can I add videos to the lesson?
You can indeed, yes. Videos can be uploaded. I think it's MP4. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, MP4 should be.
Yeah, MP4 for certain, but there's a bunch of articles that we have on which file types are available. And we'll go in at the end of the presentation. I'll show you where to find all your help articles and helpful tips if you need any more information around that. Definitely, Kathy, you can add videos.
Okie dokie. And then another question: is it possible to import PowerPoint? Yes, it is possible to import also PowerPoint inside ClassFlow, where you can use the online version for importing PowerPoint, or you can even add the PowerPoint inside your lesson. Or another thing that you could do, which is not related to this webinar, but will be showing in another webinar. But now, if you go to the ClassFlow website, you will be able also to download a PowerPoint plugin, which basically will enable you to use some of the functionalities of ClassFlow, like the marketplace, directly inside the PowerPoint. But again, we'll be dealing with that in another webinar.
Okay, so in the builder, meanwhile, back in the ClassFlow lesson builder, this is where you would have your standard tools. And one thing I would like to show you, we've added a little toggle here. So if you do think, oh, well, you know, this screen is a little bit small after, you know, this massive, impressive whiteboard screen that I'm used to, you can actually toggle the header and minimize your tool so you get a little bit more space as well. And you can even close the card notes panel, which is one of our new features as well for those that were paying close attention. You can add card notes right here. So once I've added my card notes like that, I can resize this panel by using the 3 icons, or I can just close it altogether by using the little arrow on the side. And then something else that we've added as well, all your options that people who are used to using ClassFlow might be looking for. So the card resolutions, print options, and this one is a new one. So if you are completely new to ClassFlow and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure, even though you will get a nice little helpful tooltip when you hover over the tools, you can also have the labels displayed always. It's your choice.
This is definitely useful, I think.
Yes.
Many people will find it useful.
Well, it's a personal preference, but at least you have the option. So you can have your tool labels on, or you can have your tool labels off and just show them when you hover over it. That's definitely something to note. So I can actually show you a little bit about adding resources to your lesson. But I think we are running out of time here, so basically, if you are using this button right here, I will toggle the panel back so you can see where I am at.
There's another question somebody was asking if there will be a PowerPoint plugin for Mac.
It's definitely on the roadmap, but currently we have the one for Windows available. That's the one that's been released.
And there is another question actually. They were asking, will there be a recording? Yes, so we are recording this webinar, so everybody that was registered to the webinars will be receiving a recording. So yes, you will be receiving a recording.
There you go. So I'll go a step back in case you missed that as you were listening. So to go back to the question that Kathy was asking as well, can I insert videos? Yes, you can, and you would use the insert button right here to access any file on your computer. Because remember, folks, you're still offline, so you can't access, I can't access my ClassFlow resources from at this stage. I can if I go online, if I connect with my account, but I can access all. And so if I've created an activity like this one that I created prior to the session, I can add that to my lesson. And there you go. So this would be basically, and the Let's Play button is available as soon as I go into to presentation mode. So again, I can save this lesson.
Obviously, it's also saving locally.
This is all saving locally. There is an upload button here, and as you can see, that is grayed out. And I'm sure it's sounding repetitive by now, but that is because at this point I am still not online. So let's go to that part. and I will show you.
In the meantime, I'll try to answer to a couple of questions. If we have PowerPoint for Mac, will it work? So definitely. Let's just take this one, just not to make confusion. We don't have the PowerPoint plugin for Mac, but ClassFlow Desktop work absolutely perfectly also on Mac computers, and so it will work with PowerPoint for Mac. So if you've got like a lesson on PowerPoint on Mac, then you can still grab screenshots and add them to the lesson and work on them. So the answer is definitely yes, it will work. Then another question. The Shaun who is trying to use ClassFlow Desktop on Chromebook. Does it work?
No, because you can't install anything on a Chromebook.
Okay, so
it's a locally installed software. It's the same as if you're familiar with Active Inspire. It requires install, so yeah, you can't use it on a Chromebook.
So if you have got a Chromebook, you can still use the online version of ClassFlow, so it will work absolutely well.
Yes.
So our suggestion is use the online version of ClassFlow if you're using a Chromebook.
Right.
But at the moment, ClassFlow Desktop is only available for PC, Mac, and also Linux. So
by now, I think you would be just to correct you on that one, Emanuele, the Linux version is still being developed. So for the moment,
okay, it will be available for Linux in the
for Linux Ubuntu in the future. But for now, it's Windows and Mac, and Windows obviously 32 and 64-bit. You can grab them from your ClassFlow home pages once you're logged in. So by now, I'm sure you're quite curious to see what other options you get when you're logged in. So I will quickly log in here. And pay attention to the server up there because, sorry, that went a bit quick. But you need to, so I will log out and do that again. So before you connect and log in, make sure that your server, you can change the server quite easily by clicking on the little cog and then adding the server right there. So it's if you want to just copy paste it from your web browser, that works best, I find, and then save it, and it'll go straight through, and then you can connect here. So this is my normal online ClassFlow account. You do not need a separate account for ClassFlow Desktop. So just to make that very clear, this is the same account that you would be using if you were using the online browser. So let me log in again. And if you are looking closely, you will see that the circle on my ClassFlow Desktop icon is now a pretty orange. So orange is good. Orange means that we are online, just to give you like a little visual cue and to remind you if you're connected or not. So now you can see I've got two more options available, which is ClassFlow, which allows me to now go to my resources that I have in ClassFlow Online. And this is my student connection button. This will be very familiar to the people who are used to using ClassFlow browser, but not so familiar to the people who are new to it all. So at this point, we could connect to the lesson. So I might actually ask you to join me on the lesson. Let's just see. Right, we have a little connection sheet for you right there. So if you want to join the session, I will first of all start the session so you can actually join. So I've now started an ad hoc session from my ClassFlow Desktop tool, and please feel free to join that lesson with the, you can either scan your phone on the QR code or go to the classflow.co.uk student website. Even if your account is somewhere else, just to join me here, you will need to use the classflow.co.uk student site. And I see Emanuele furiously typing away there. I will also join myself as a student. Yeah, it's still starting the session here. So if you find that you're having some that it's not letting you through yet, that might be because it's we have quite a few people on this WebEx. So I think at the moment it's struggling to connect them all.
In the meantime, there is a question. Will a video or other files save within the lesson, or will it just be a link? Yes, when you put anything inside the lesson and then you save the lesson, it will be packed inside the lesson, so it won't be a link unless you add the video, for example, as a link or as an embedded code. In that case, it won't be inside the lesson, but will go externally. But yes, there is obviously normally when you add a video or a picture or anything, it will go directly inside the lesson.
Yeah, there's different ways of adding your resources. It's usually a case of just playing around with it, and I'm doing that. So in the meantime, because the lesson or the class session was struggling a bit there, I've gone to my ClassFlow icon here, which will let me connect to my browser, right, not the browser I should say, sorry, which will let me connect to my ClassFlow resources online. So you will notice actually that you don't have any browser functionality, there's no address bar. This is purely to take you straight to all your online ClassFlow options. So from here, I can browse the marketplace, I can check my resources, I can check my classes, everything that I would normally be able to do if I'm using the online browser. And I can see that there's 2 people connected to my session here. So this is the little student icon. It will show you how many students you have connected, which is always useful. So my class code is also displayed up here in this little handy box, which I can move anywhere, but it's also got like a little handy icon there that I can use to just move it. If it's in my way, I can just click it and it'll move to the other side of the screen. So that can be useful as well. So
again, if they want to connect, they have to go to classflow.co.uk/student, and then
yes,
and then you will be prompted to insert this code QQ9YF.
That's the one. So now with my students connected, I can open a lesson again. And I can demonstrate just how easy. So this is the whiteboard lesson that we started before, and I can say, right, okay, so we've talked about a few things. So why don't you tell me what your favorite feature of ClassFlow Desktop is so far? And what I could do with that is I can actually send this to. Sorry, I can. I didn't want a screen grab of that at all. So what I can do is I can use the image one, and I can choose with my capture if I want to capture the screen, the window, or the area. So you can also do that. You can also use it as a screen capture tool, and this will be added to your media gallery just to show you what the other options are for.
I think you just spotted something out, because we are currently, you've opened also the website, so
yeah, sorry, I will just quickly disconnect this one.
So basically, because we are running a session of a class, we cannot go back to the website. There is a
Yeah, I'll shut it all down. I think we've got multiple sessions open here, that's fine. So I'll exit that without saving. And we still, as you can see, the people are still connected here. So even if I disconnect here, you will be. As soon as I start the session up again, you will be connected. So what I will do is I'll just quickly log out because that's the easiest, and then because that will automatically end all my sessions. There we go. So now, as you can see, I have those options available. So let's go back to that lesson. There we go. So another thing, just another little visual cue that you will get there is as soon as you've got your students connected, your circle will go green. So as you can see, we've still got the 3 people connected to my session. So even though I logged out, even though I closed my, so this can always happen. It always happens at the worst of times, doesn't it? When you're in your lesson, all of a sudden your internet connection has a dip or whatever, and you get logged out, and then you have to do it all over again. Not with ClassFlow, not with ClassFlow Desktop. All my students are still connected right here. So now I have 2 more icons available. I can either start polling or I can share a card. Now, as I said before, I would like you to share with me in whatever form or shape you would like with me what your favorite feature of ClassFlow Desktop is so far. So I'm going to send you a creative poll, which means you should be getting a card anytime soon. And that will allow you to play around. And you can now see what your students would be seeing. So as you can see, I can see who's connected. I can see how many people have responded. And we won't draw this out too long because I don't want to take up too much of your precious time and stay within the allotted time that we've scheduled for this, and also leave some time for wrap-up questions.
Yeah.
So I will give this a few more seconds, and then I will be stopping this poll.
Okay, if you click here as well, we can see the results.
Yes,
so,
definitely. So we've got one response here, 2 responses here, like there you go, interconnectivity of programs. Yes, that is one of my favorite features as well. So there we go, and this is how you can. Actually, I could pause the poll, which means that you will be returned. Basically your student screen will go non-interactive if I pause the poll, which is handy because if you send out a question and there's some confusion, you can say, right, okay, let's pause this. Everybody stop what you're doing, and we'll just go through it again without losing what they're doing. And then once everybody's on the same page, you can just resume that poll. I will stop mine now because I think we've established what it does. And even after the poll stopped, I can still go in and look at the results for that poll. Again, you have basically all the features you have from your lesson browser, but with the additional benefit of
Yeah, there are a couple of questions that were somehow connected. One is, why do I see random pictures of my students' account? No, it's not account. It's a device.
We call them the landing page, or basically the holding screen for the students. So it's not like we get this question quite a lot where people say, right, I've started my lesson, but my students are not seeing anything. They're just getting the nature pictures. Yeah, that's right, because we want you to be in full control as a teacher. So it's not automatically going to start sending things to your students. We want you to say, right, I want to send this card, or, I would like my students to now have a go at playing this activity. And you decide when to send something out. Now, to make this easier, there are some features, and I won't go into it too much, but you can add student cards. So you can duplicate your teacher card, and these student cards can be set to be sent out automatically as soon as you select the teacher card. So as soon as I select my teacher card, the student card will be sent out automatically, but that's a choice. You can set that.
Another couple of questions. Actually, there was one question that arrived before that you send a question to the students, which was why I don't see what you've got in the screen. It's because the question was not been sent yet, so that's why they couldn't send the card.
So if I've not sent anything out, you will be seeing the nature picture.
And I think last question, and then I think we close because we are about finished the time. So will student responses say within a lesson somehow? So yes.
Yes, definitely.
If you've got an adult class, so if you start in an adult class, then all the results, all the responses, they won't be saved.
Yes.
But if you've connected your students to a class, so if you have created a class previously, and so your students have joined the class, all of the answers that your students give, they will all be saved inside the classroom. So if you then go on ClassFlow online, they will be all saved there inside the classroom. So you will see the classroom and then the students with the answer that they've given.
Definitely.
And that's a fantastic feature. That's it's one of my favorite features of ClassFlow, because it will basically give you an history of what all of the students have done, during the year, and then at the end of the year, or, after a few months, you can review actually what they've done. If they've done an assessment, you can check and the results, or even the results of the pools. You'll find them all inside the class, and this happens automatically. So that's something that ClassFlow does automatically, saves the results inside the classroom of the students.
Okay, and that is pretty much it from us. A few things to just remind you that help is always available. So if you are on your online browser or even on your ClassFlow Desktop tool, there is a help section here which will take you to our online help juice articles, which is a fantastic online database of just quick tips, and most of them have got like a helpful little video in them that'll just show you, even if you're reading it and you think not too sure about that, just have a look at the video and it'll soon make sense. And on top of that, we also have a support department, which I work for. So from your web browser, you can always click the question mark, which will give you the option to leave us a message. I have to say that is an English-only option for the moment, though, so you won't find that on the language sites. Okay.
Last thing, probably we should say, if you don't have an account of ClassFlow, you can make your own account. You will suggest to actually visit your local site, which means if you're in UK, for example, go to classflow.co.uk. If you are in France, go to classflow.fr. If you are in Germany, classflow.de, italy.it. In this way, you basically be getting a much faster experience, because you will be connecting to a local site, and plus you will also enjoy local content from the home page. There are also our social. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Please give us a like. Thank you very much. We hope you like it, and you will also be receiving a recording in the next few days. Thank you very much.
Thanks all for joining.
Bye to everybody.
Yes, bye-bye.